Alright, this is part 2 of a look at a Swedish 24-hour ration. Part 1 took a look at the bag itself and all the components, and we also took a look at breakfast. I was originally going to split this into 3 videos, but since the meals themselves are somewhat on the small side, I'm going to do lunch and dinner in this video. And what I did after breakfast was I used the integrated garbage compartment that the pouch gives you. It's nice that it gives you this zip top bag. And it has a separator, which is supposed to be to put food on one side and garbage on the other. But what I did was I put lunch on one side and dinner on the other. So let me pull all the stuff out and show you what we're going to have for the second and third meals. Alright, and here's meal 2, or lunch. This is going to be pasta carbonara, along with the roasted and salted peanuts, the beef jerky, 2 beverages, the isotonic drinking powder beverage, and one of the 3 coffees. We also have the Flow blueberry vanilla menthol gum and a disinfectant swab. And I'm going to split the oat biscuits between lunch and dinner. The lunch ones will have the nut cream on them. And that brings us to meal number 3, or dinner, which will be oriental chicken with couscous, barbecue peanuts, the Orifo chocolate bar, 2 beverages again, the chocolate drinking powder, and the third of the coffees, the Arctic Storm licorice freeze gum, and what I think is going to be the black licorice hard candy, and of course the third disinfectant swab, and the half of the oat biscuits with this meal will have peanut butter on them. And we'll start off with lunch. Here's the pasta carbonara. It says to pull the top off, add 4 deciliters of water, which is going to be about 13.5 ounces, stir, and reseal and wait 10 minutes. Here's the nutrition facts if you want to check those out. And this one was good before June 16th, 2017, so this one's a little bit past date. You can see the pasta there. Oh, it smells good. It's got that bacon kind of smell you expect from a carbonara. Kind of smoky. Here are the ingredients. So if you don't have a way to measure the water, it does say you can add it to the level G, which you can see in here. A lot of different levels. Of course, when you open it up, it changes the with the level. As I was just about up to G, and now I'm barely at C. I'll add a little bit more to get it close to that 4 deciliters. I'm going to go just a little bit light on it. And stir this up good. There's a nice strong smell coming off of there. Let's seal this back up. And give that about 10 minutes to reconstitute. We'll check out the rest of our components. Here's the beef jerky. Looks like this was produced in Lithuania for a company in Estonia. And it ended up in a Swedish ration. We have an oxygen absorber here. And we get 3 plus pieces of jerky. Not too much of a smell coming off of them, typical jerky kind of a smell. Here's the roasted and salted peanuts. And let's see if we have a hiss come off of this well vacuum sealed pouch. Pouch was a little bit too loud. I didn't hear a hiss, but I felt the release. Smell fine. And then we have the oat biscuits. These have a Best Buy of August 4th, 2017, and I'm filming this at the end of July, so these should be just fine. And these are crunchy and sweet oat biscuits. So as I mentioned, I'm going to use half of them for lunch and half for dinner. Okay, these are quite crumbled up. unfortunately. But there they are. They do smell oaty. They don't really have much of a scent coming off of them. They actually smell quite a bit like U.S. MRE crackers, the plain ones. And we're going to use the nut cream on this, which, like I said in the first video, I believe this is like a Nutella kind of a thing. It does have sugar, vegetable fat, hazelnuts, peanuts, cocoa powder, aromas, vanillin. So this should be good. And I'll just put some on a couple of these chunks here. And then we'll make up our beverages. We have a Colombian freeze-dried instant coffee. Doesn't really have a lot of smell in the package, but as I found out the first one, it's quite strong. It's pretty flavorful. Maybe I'll add a little more water this time. Nice coffee smell coming off of that. And the exotic flavor isotonic drinking powder does make 500 mils. So I'm going to do that in a separate container, because it does make quite a bit. Oh, I think it's like a tropical fruit punch. It smells like pineapple, maybe a little bit of coconut. Smells pretty good. Hopefully it's going to taste like that. And I actually went with about 450 mils just because I kind of like my drinks to be a little bit on the stronger side. I like to be able to taste them. It looks and smells good. That tropical punch, that pineapple kind of smell is a little different from what you usually get in MREs. So I always like to get something a little different. A nice glass here, and quite a bit left over. That just leaves us with our Skinarmo's pasta carbonara. Which is definitely thickened up nicely. Let me just give this a little bit of a stir. It's because I was, the breakfast, I was a little bit, this is very, looks like it's very consistent all the way through. The breakfast one, it looked like it was still all liquid, but at the bottom it had kind of solidified. So as you can see, I had mentioned that these meals aren't terribly large if you do split this 24-hour ration into 3 meals. But I think part of the reason is because you're getting most of your nutrition and most of your food in the entree. And as you can see, you are getting a lot of food in this entree. The pouch has 143 grams, and you're adding pretty close to 2 cups of water to it. It's basically this twisty pasta. You can see some beef in here, cheese, and cream. And like I said, it definitely has a smoky kind of a smell. It smells like bacon. I think we have to try this out while it's still warm. That's very good. Has a lot of flavor. Very tasty. You don't need to add anything to this. It's I like a lot of MRE dishes. It's very salty, but I think you can tell that's by design. I mean, it is carbonara, which is supposed to be pretty strong, and it really doesn't let you down. Yeah, that's really good. And it is, to show you the advantages of having freeze-dried food over ready-to-eat food. It depends on what your needs are, of course, and if you have water available to you. But with freeze-dried, you generally can get a lot more food because it's a lot lighter and easier to pack. And it stays hotter, too. If you heat up an MRE entree with a flameless ration heater, it does get some good heat, but it goes away pretty quick. Because the fact that this is basically boiled in boiling water, it kind of retains the heat a little bit better. Well, the only negative thing I could say about it is that maybe the beef could have used another couple of minutes of reconstitution. Just slightly chewy. Not too bad. The pasta seems to be fine. It's not mushy, but it is definitely reconstituted. And I can see, that's really all you see on here is the pasta, the beef, the cheese sauce. There are some little flecks of green. Which I guess is the parsley. Oh, you know what? I just got a crunchy bit of pasta. So, really, the only negative thing I can say about this has to do with how I prepared it. You know, if this was in a little bit longer, the beef would be perfect. And maybe if I stirred it a little bit better, I wouldn't have gotten that little crunchy bit from the pasta. There's really not much I can say negative about it. Unless you like your food kind of bland. This is very, very flavorful. There are quite a few MRE entrees that I'm surprised with the amount of sodium in them that they're actually as bland as they are. This one does have quite a bit of salt, but you're tasting the results. As you can say, you're getting what you paid for, as it were. Let's try a little of the coffee. It's a nice, strong Colombian coffee. And same as breakfast, this didn't come with sugar or creamer, so we're just having it as is. If you like black coffee, then this instant black coffee seems to be just fine. Otherwise, you can bring along your own stuff if you have it. Try out these peanuts. Save the barbecue ones for the dinner. These are just roasted and salted. And they're good. There's a nice amount of salt on there. I will say that the peanuts do seem to taste a little bit different than what I'm used to getting in the US. And there could be something slightly different about them. I'm not exactly sure where these come from, because this does have Philippines listed here, Hong Kong, Denmark, and Thailand. So this seems to have come from all over the world. But they're fine. They're very good. I'll try a little bit of the beef jerky. Not surprisingly, it's pretty tough to chew. But yeah, it's not really like a lot of flavor either. It's not like barbecue or teriyaki or anything. It seems to be just kind of plain. But that's just fine too. I'll try one of these oat biscuits, or a little fraction of one of these oat biscuits, which isn't really beyond its supposed shelf life, so I'm not exactly sure why they crumple up like that. But that's good. It's serviceable. It's not terribly crunchy. A little bit different than a cracker. There's a little bit of sweetness to it. Just a very, very tiny bit. Separates it from like a saltine kind of cracker. It does seem to be maybe. It seems like it could be a little bit on the stale side. Which, granted, the ration does say it was supposed to be used by October of last year, so that's fair enough. But the Best By date on the package says it should still be fine. And then we'll try some with some of this nut cream. Yeah, it's really good. It's definitely makes the crackers more interesting. Very much like Nutella. Not exactly, but if you know what Nutella is, you know kind of what to expect from this. It's a sweet, chocolatey kind of a cream. It's got a little bit of a grittiness to it. Not bad, just that there's a little bit of an extra texture that I wasn't expecting. But that makes it for a very good snack. And that leaves us with our exotic flavor, isotonic drink powder mix. Yeah, my guess is that this is a pineapple drink. It does seem to have a little bit of a hint of coconut, but sometimes I get pineapple and coconut kind of confused, like a pina colada kind of a thing. But it's really good. Sweet. I guess you could say exotic. And it's good. It's really tasty. I finish up with a piece of this Flow Blueberry Vanilla Menthol Gum. Yeah, look at that. It looks like blueberry. Yeah, get the blueberry right away. And there's the menthol. I guess there's a little bit of vanilla in there. It's good. The menthol makes it almost a little bit like medicine. But overall, it's really good. A nice way to finish up your meal. Clean your mouth, clean your teeth a little bit. Alright, so that was a look at lunch for the 24-hour Swedish ration. Let me finish up, clean up, and we'll look at dinner. And of course, meal number 3, or dinner, is centered around the Oriental chicken with couscous. This looks like it's going to be good too. See how it compares to lunch. Here's the ingredients on the chicken with couscous. And here are the nutrition facts if you want to see those. This one has a Best By date of June 16th, 2017. So a little over a month past date by the time I'm filming this. Let's go ahead and prepare this. Oh, I can smell that flavor coming off of that already. Wow. That one's different. I'm smelling a lot of vegetables in that one. Yeah, green pepper, green beans, onion, carrots, tomato. Yeah, all that smells coming off of there. This should be a good one. And I didn't really mention it. I did expand the pouch, but of course these pouches, one thing that's great about these, it makes a lot of food, and you can expand the bottom and just stand it up and use it as a bowl. It's great both for preparing it and eating it, especially if you're out in the field. It's going to take 4 deciliters of water, about 13.5 ounces. Or up to fill line G. Give that a good stir. And we'll see how this reconstitutes. That last one thickened up very well. I went a little bit light on the water. You can see it's basically like a soup right now. Totally liquid. Oh, and close this up. And give that about 10 minutes to reconstitute. And while that does its thing, we'll check out what else we have. This is the other half of the oat biscuits. I used half the package for lunch, and save the other half for dinner. And strangely enough, these actually survive better than the first ones. The first 3 were pretty smashed, and these are actually in pretty good shape. And there's the barbecue peanuts. We had the roasted and salted ones for lunch. I actually did hear a little bit of a hiss there. They definitely have a different look to them. Interesting barbecue smell coming off of them. Smells good. I'm going to say like kind of a honey barbecue. And of course we do have the squeezed peanut butter, which I need to put on some of the biscuits. This actually has a Best By date on it of February 14th, 2017. So there's definitely a variety of Best By dates, and they go kind of on the safe side with the overall date on the packaging. And while this doesn't seem to say anything about kneading it, since it is peanut butter and they can separate, you have a little bit of a knead there. It's pretty soft peanut butter. And kind of runny too. I guess, yeah, definitely needed the kneading. I think the hole is a little too small and the oil came out first. Then we have our Orifo chocolate bar, 25 grams. Looks like it has a Best By date of September 2017. And it definitely has some oxidation to it. Smells fine though. Just a milk chocolate, I guess. We'll also put our Arctic Storm licorice freeze gum and our, what I'm guessing is black licorice hard candy, bullet shaped. And that too. We do have one final coffee, but since I've already made this up twice, and since I still have the one from lunch, we'll just use that as an example to save some time instead of making up the third one. The chocolate drinking powder, it does say to add 200 mils of hot water. I don't see any reason why you couldn't use cold if you wanted to, but since it says to use hot, we'll use hot. Nice chocolate smell coming off of that. Definitely doesn't make as much as the isotonic drink powder that made 500 milliliters, but that's fine. And that just leaves us with our Oriental chicken with couscous. I think I've given us enough time. Like I said, you get this nice, convenient pouch which acts as a bowl to eat it out of. But since we're doing a review, we'll go ahead and plate it. Looks good. Looks really good. Yeah, it smells good as well. I'll give that a little bit of a mix. Stir it up. And see what we got here. As I've been saying, USMREs, you seem to get more snacks and sides and desserts. And when you see this ration, you open it up and you pull it out, it almost doesn't look like a ton of food for 24 hours. But you do have to keep in mind that these 3 entree pouches make a heck of a lot more than what's in there. I mean, this is 144 grams in here when it's dry, but you do add 4 deciliters of water, and it makes a pile of food. I mean, just look at how high that pile is on there. Not only does it fill up the compartment, but it's all the way up to here. It's like 2.5 inches high. And let's try this out while it's still warm. A lot of couscous in this thing. Yeah, some nice flavor. It's oriental. It kind of has like an Indian food kind of a taste to it. There actually doesn't seem to be a ton of chicken in here. For a second I was almost thinking it was a vegetarian thing that just had chicken flavor. There's 35% couscous, and there's down here after all these veggies, there's 7.2% chicken. So I'm not getting a very strong meat flavor out of this. It has a little bit of a chicken stock kind of a taste, but it really does taste like a vegetarian meal with all those vegetables in there. You can see some of the veggies there. There's carrots in there, green beans. Everything seems to have reconstituted nicely. I think I got some chicken here. There's a couple pieces of chicken. And some carrots. You know, everything's reconstituted nicely, except I think I could have given the chicken a couple more minutes. And that's a little bit on the dry, crunchy side. But that's not a knock on the food. That's my preparation. The dish itself tastes really good. Once again, it's a little on the salty side. It's not as salty as the carbonara was, but you really don't need to add anything to this. If you like your food spicy, you could add some hot sauce. I wouldn't say it has a kick to it, but it's got plenty of flavor. I'm not really sure what this thing is here. I guess it may be part of a green bean. Yeah, the vegetables are carrot, tomato, green pepper, green beans, onion. And just like I said with the smell, the flavors really come through. There's a big piece of carrot there. Yeah, the flavors of these vegetables definitely comes through on this. And couscous is nice. Seems to be reconstituted perfectly. The green bean there. Yeah, that does not let you down. It's very good. But I suppose you have to try everything else out too. Is that coffee, which now is cooled down a bit, but same as it was at lunch. Pretty strong. Try these barbecue peanuts. It's funny, they seem to be a different kind of peanut. They're a little bit rounder and shorter than this one. The roasted salted ones were more like this, a little bit bigger, but they, I don't know, it does seem to be a different type of peanut for whatever reason. Yeah, those are good. They're, I guess you would call it a barbecue flavor. A little bit of a kick there, just a little bit, kind of a little sweetness, a little bit of a heat. I think if you wanted, you could probably throw a few of these in here, give it a little bit extra kick, extra crunchiness, maybe crush them up a little bit. That would make it feel even more like an Indian dish. But it says here, simply delicious and amply nutritious. So obviously, I'm going to get some protein here, and it's not the best barbecue flavor I've ever had, but it's certainly good. And nice to have that variety. You have the roasted salted and you have the barbecue. Actually, I do have some of the roasted salted left over. I'll save them for later so we can kind of compare them. Yeah, there you go. You can see how these seem to be different, totally different kind of peanuts. I wouldn't have expected that, but it's interesting. I'll try one of our oat biscuits. See, we did already have these with lunch, so I'm not expecting anything different, but at least it's in one piece. Yeah, like I said, it's not overly crunchy, and I think that does have to do with the fact that it does seem like it may be getting a little bit on the stale side. It doesn't taste bad, just maybe slightly stale. I'm going to try it with the peanut butter, though. That's good, just nice creamy peanut butter. Seems to go okay with this slightly sweet cracker. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Just because it's what I picked, we do have 2 hot drinks with this meal. This one only came with 1 cold drink, the isotonic drink powder. But they did make 500 mils, so if you had a way to save it in the field, you could have that with 2 meals. The chocolate drink is pretty good. It seems to be a little darker on the bottom, so maybe I'll give this an extra stir. Maybe I've settled a little, yeah, that could make the whole thing darker. Yeah, that's good. I think I may prefer the U.S. cocoa beverage powder a little bit. You know, it's something I've had a lot, but I've always liked it. It tastes like a nice chocolate milk. This is definitely chocolatey, but just slightly different. Nothing bad about it, just I think I prefer the U.S. one. And while we're speaking of chocolate, let's try out this somewhat oxidized chocolate bar. A little bit on the hard side. That's what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, a little hard, but it's a nice, nice milk chocolate there. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's milk chocolate. That's what it tastes like. That's the only reason why you couldn't put some of the peanut butter on there too, if you want. Mix it up a little bit. Let's try this hard candy here. So I'm guessing it's going to be black licorice. What else would it be? From Sweden. Yep, and that's what it is. There's no real science behind how I split up these 3 meals. But since they only give you 1 hard candy, I kind of thought it would be nice to finish up with that after dinner. And of course it does still leave us with our Arctic Storm Licorice Freeze Salmiak Ice. So a little bit more of the black licorice flavor going on. And, oh, you know what? That's what it is. It's 2 different. It's licorice freeze and Salmiak Ice. Okay, so we're going to have to try both of these. I didn't realize that. Yeah, let's go with the ice first because the licorice is probably going to be pretty strong. No, that one is, it actually more or less has a flavor of black licorice itself. Kind of like a salted black licorice. Not exactly what I was expecting, but interesting. Usually when I'm cleansing my palate with gum, I kind of like to have more of a mint kind of thing, peppermint, spearmint, or some kind of a fruit. Let's try the, I guess this is the black ice. Yeah, I'm not sure which one was which. Going by color, I would say that was the licorice freeze. But they're both a licorice. I think this is going to be kind of an acquired taste. The other gums were just fine. This is a little bit on the weird side. I think a good example of a Swedish treat that is probably kind of an acquired taste. So as you can see, I still have to dig into a lot of this Oriental chicken with couscous. But that was a look at meals 2 and 3 from a Swedish 24-hour ration, menu number 4. And thank you again to the Magnus for sending this along to me to review. And thank you for watching.